like to call to order the City of Oconomowoc Committee of the Whole meeting for Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. Has appropriate meeting notification been made?
Yes, Your Honor, it has.
If you would call roll, please.
Alderman Kavieski.
Here.
Alderman Douglas.
Here.
Alderman Rozak. Here. Alderman Altman Cloth.
Here.
Alderman Ellis.
Here.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Here.
Alderman Mulder.
Here.
Didn't hear that. Alderman Shell Pepper.
Here. Welcome, everybody. Let's go on to committee business. Consider recommend approval of the 2023 wastewater rates. Wastewater rates, sorry.
Waywater?
Say that three times fast,
Waywater.
Mayor,
Waywater.
after drinking.
So I thought we were going to do the budget first, so
Wait.
within the budget is the wastewater rate increase that we talked about in detail at our meeting last week. So the summary of the wastewater rate increase is that a year ago, we didn't have a rate increase. We normally do about 3% a year. This year, we're looking at about a 7% overall increase. What we're looking at for a resident is about $1.06 a month, which is a combination of the rate increase and the volume decrease that we're seeing through the residential area. So about $12 a year. The rate schedules are in your packets. And so what we will do with this is implement those as of January 1st, and we will send the rate schedules to the sanitary districts so that they have that to make sure that they are billing their constituents correctly as well.
I'd like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussions or questions for Ms. Sullivan Murray? Call roll, please.
Alderman Kavieski.
Aye.
Alderman Douglas.
Aye.
Alderman Rozak.
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth.
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
And to consider recommend approval of the 2023 utility budgets.
Again, the committee and most of the council was here. We went through these budgets in detail a week ago. I did bring these slides along just so you understand that tonight I'm doing a very fast overview because there's a couple points that we should have. At least this one, it's a public meeting. The slides will be on the website and available for people to view. So I have them. People can look at them in more detail on, at their own leisure. But tonight, quick overview and a recommendation to the city council. The budget adoption will be at your next council meeting on November 15th. We went through the wastewater utility. What I have in the slides for everyone is really, here's your rate increase and how that affects the residential customer. We talk about how that affects operating income. What we went through at the budget meeting was the expenses, operating income and operating expenses that have changed from the year before. So we outline all of those different expenses that have changed. So those are the ones that I want to have available for the slides for this meeting. We went through all of these in detail. And then what we looked at was what is the overall operating income and rate of return for each utility. So for the wastewater, for this year, we're actually looking at a negative rate of return. However, we will have enough cash to cover the operating expenses and still be in good shape moving forward. And then we do the rate comparison. So when you look at the city of Oconomowoc compared to other utilities around the area, you can see that our wastewater rates currently are here in the low spot, and even after the increase, we are still on the very low end of our corresponding municipalities. Moved on to the water utility, and we did the same thing.
Before you move on, Council, do you have any questions with regard to wastewater?
I think we covered a lot at
Yeah,
the
I do
meeting,
too.
so
That's why I was just
everyone
trying
was
to.
here pretty much, so.
I'm just trying to introduce these slides so people that know what they're looking at if they go take a look at them. Again, with the water utility, we did the exact same thing. We went through the operating income changes, so the pluses and minuses to the budget overall from 2022 to 2023. In the water utility, we had a rate increase last year. The second half of that rate increase is due to go online once the new well goes online, which at this point we think will be sometime towards the end of 2024. So no change in rates for 2023.
Real quick, I just want to confirm, this says committee of the whole is being put on YouTube?
Yes,
And
that's why I have the slides
Yep,
out.
I just,
Okay. And like I said, I'm going through them very quickly. So again, we take a look at what the water rate of return is. You can see after the rate increase, because it's a two-part, it is declining right now. We will take a look at that again next year, and we expect that the second rate increase with well number 8. We look at our rate comparisons again. Here we are right here, kind of in the middle of the pack, and step 2 keeps us in the middle of the pack here for rates throughout the area. Any questions on the water utility? Okay.
And for the record, the community should realize that the council has spent a considerable amount of time during the utility budget workshops
Yep.
going through all these slides in detail.
So
Thank you.
this is just a review, yeah.
Correct.
So the electric, same thing, electric utility operating income changes. You went through at your meeting detail of all of these changes and why they happened and answered your questions at that time. The electric utility is putting in a rate case for their rates. We expect that a change of rates will happen sometime later next year after, late summer, first part of fall, probably. The rate of return that we're expecting is 4.14%. We are looking at a rate increase of about 5% overall. Excuse me. So right now, our authorized rate of return is 5.6%. So we are falling below that. It has been 4 years since we looked at this last time. So we need to move forward with the PSC and make sure that we keep our rates in line with the costs that we have. Again, the rate comparison, so you take a look at where we are right now, what it's projected to be after the rate increase, and then you can see that surrounding investor-owned utilities are quite a bit higher. We save a lot of money for the people in the city of Oconomowoc by having our electric utility here. Any questions overall?
No, I do have one comment if I may. I agree with what the mayor said. We did probably 2.5 hours at the budget meetings on
Yep.
all these budgets. There were a lot of good questions. Everyone was pretty much here. I thought we did a really good job, going through the basics. And the biggest takeaway for me from the utility budgets is that we're really doing good as a city on the utility side on everything. We're kind of in the middle of the pack or lower than the middle of the pack on rates. Electric, we're doing way better, even though the rates are gonna go up for electric. So I think we should be proud of our utility departments and what the council has been able to do to keep those rates under control and just kind of keep an eye on everything. So I'm stoked. I think we did a good job. So.
Yeah, and when I had this slide up, I should have said, these investor-owned utilities with this in the dollar amount right here, they all have rate increases in right
Coming
now,
up,
too.
well, they have rate increases coming up now.
Right.
That aren't
That are
reflected on
going
that
to likely
slide.
be
Right.
double-digit rate increases.
So thank you to everyone that came out and answered questions for us. And
Alderman Kavieski?
that didn't look like a question to me. It looked like,
well, you missed it before because you were talking over me, but that's okay.
good.
Yeah,
Well, I guess, Mr. Pickard, would you please come up to the podium?
Okay, I will do that.
just think, I echo Alderman Rozik's comments in regards to the utility is something to be proud of. During the last few years, we've had a lot of growth in our community. We foresee that growth to continue. And one of the concerns that I hear quite often from our residents is, are we keeping up with our infrastructure associated with that? And I think because this is on YouTube, because we are in our budgeting season, having you speak to the utilities position to keep up with that and where we're at, we do have great rates, and the staff that you have is amazing in keeping up with the demand, I believe, in my opinion. But if you could just touch on that, because that reflects what they're getting for the rates they're paying.
So every year we have capital projects that are system improvement projects. Now, granted, yes, we do have a lot of construction and a lot of our man hours for our own staff gets put into building new subdivisions and putting new wires in the ground. But every year we have projects to change out the old cable, and keep the infrastructure in a good situation. And then we evaluate all of our cables every year, and we put money back into the system to keep it a reliable and cost-effective way to deliver electricity to the community.
Cool. A lot of that growth, the developers pay utility to put those
correct.
infrastructure elements in. They're not given by
It's
the
not
city.
funded by the ratepayer. The developer pays to have his electricity put in, and then that infrastructure is given to the utility to maintain.
I appreciate it. And just, you know.
That's the same with the water side too.
Yep.
Any new, and the streets
Streets.
also, yeah.
Public infrastructure is one of the council's priorities, should be, in providing that to our residents. And again, we live in an amazing community with a lot of growth because it is an amazing community. And the utility is part of that. People, I think, are attracted here because the rates are so competitive and reliable. So my hat's off to you and to staff for putting together the budget and making it what it is.
Yeah, it's all my staff.
I know.
Thank you, guys.
And just so you know, I do have the 3 slides that show the utility, the utility capital projects at the end of the slides here. So those will be on the website as well. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Any further questions?
I'll make a motion to approve all 3 budgets as presented and/or amended at the utility committee meeting.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Call roll, please.
Alderman Kavieski,
Aye.
Alderman Douglas,
Aye.
Alderman Rozak,
Aye.
Alderman Altman Cloth,
Aye.
Alderman Ellis.
Aye.
Alderman Spiegelberg.
Aye.
Alderman Mulder.
Aye.
Alderman Shell Pepper.
Aye.
With all of that, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn, and we'll start the common council meeting at 7:30 sharp.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.